All right, today we are going to talk about why lower brains are not part of self-compassion. They can't be part of self-compassion. So what is self-compassion? You guys have watched all my videos, I know you have, on self-compassion. Self-compassion is that motherly love. It's the, hey sweetheart, no, we're not going to have that second or third cookie because we don't want you to feel yucky in your tummy, but we are going to have a cookie, right? It's that middle ground. It's the parent who puts healthy limitations and boundaries on things, but doesn't say no cookie, no chocolate bar. Like, it's not this like, you're having none of the stuff or you're having all of the stuff. And unfortunately, that's why so many people struggle with self-compassion or the concept of self-compassion, because they're trying to offload it to their lower brain. Your lower brain lives in black and white, all or nothing. It doesn't understand shades of gray. It understands, because remember, lower brains are there to basically keep you alive, to keep you from perishing, to keep you out of harm's way. It's not there for you to thrive, it's there for you to survive, okay? And your lower brain talks to you all day long. Oh my gosh, you're up on the scale today. You really should cut back. Da, 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 da. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and pull all carbs out of your diet. Da, 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 da. It's got this like rote, repetitive, I know you've heard the messages a gajillion times in your head and you keep falling for it, right? The cycle continues on. And so every time it perceives a problem, it then wants to fix the problem, and it ups your anxiety and stress by doing very restrictive things. It gets very detail oriented. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And before you know it, your head's spinning around, right? Or it's offering up a solution to your stress and anxiety that it has created for you. Have all the cookies. You deserve all the cookies. Look at how much you do. Look at how busy you are. Look at how tired and overworked and overwhelmed. Just have all the cookies. You'll feel better. And we'll do this tomorrow, right? You have lived in this cycle for so long. And then what happens when I throw out an idea like self-compassion, it's almost like you don't know what to even make of that. Like, okay, but all I've ever seen myself do with food or with myself is overly restrict, then give myself everything. I can't do self-compassion. But let's go to your higher level brain for a second. Let's talk it out, right? Could you not, if you're thinking about another person, because it's almost impossible, your lower brain will not engage in the same way when you're thinking of somebody else. This, by the way, is why you can see things for other people. You can help them. You can offer them good advice, but you can't offer it to yourself because you aren't self-identified with the story, okay? So, of course, Susie could have a candy bar. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But for me, oh no, I got to cut out carbs because my weight's up on the scale and that's not acceptable. Da, 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 da. Like, you see the difference, right? For her, it's okay, but it's not okay for you. How is that possible? You're both human beings. You know, you obviously care about Susie, but you don't have a story. There's no story built around Susie. There's only a story built around you. So here's what you want to keep in mind. When we talk about self-compassion, you're going to have to start thinking for yourself as if you're offering this advice and a way of behaving based on another person. Because for you to say, I am going to do these things, it feels so foreign, so out of touch. Your lower brain it's going to want to mingle into that because it's a story about you. Versus, hey, if Susie was really struggling with her weight, I might encourage her to, have a chocolate bar every day or several times a week, but maybe not buy all of them and keep them in the home because that might be problematic for her, right? A place of self-compassion, letting her have something she would enjoy, but not to the point that it's destructive to her goals, right? Loving, motherly compassion, parental love. This idea of I want to take good care of you, not I want to get some kind, because keep in mind too, your lower brain does love you, but what it's trying to do is get you to survive, and it's trying to make sure that you don't perish. So it's always going to push you to do more, get more, have more, accomplish more. What you have done up till now is not enough, right? You've got to do more. Because what if you don't do enough? What if that leads to your downfall. It wants to push you to continue to get, quote unquote, better. There's very little room for self-compassion with the lower brain for several reasons, right? One, it lives in black and white thinking. It's always trying to fix a perceived problem. And then it's trying to fix the stress and anxiety that it creates by putting all these requirements on you. And on top of that, it's identifying with you. It's protecting you. It's not protecting Susie. Susie's cool. We like Susie. She lives, she dies, whatever, but you, a whole other situation. This is why when you say, why can I see this for other people, but I can't see it for myself? Exactly, because you're looking at it as you. But let's just say, what if we stopped listening to our lower brain and we said, I know my lower brain cannot see me separate, right? It's trying to protect me as the I, me. So I need to start seeing everything that I'm going to do with self-compassion through the lens of, what would I tell my best friend? What would I tell somebody I love very much? That advice I've got to start to implement into my own life, whether it feels comfortable or not. Because as I have learned from How My Thinking Leads to Eating and listening to Heather on the Half Size Me YouTube and podcast, is that my lower brain will always do this cycle. It will find the problem. It will try to fix said problem. It will give me a crap ton of things to do that make me feel extremely anxious and stressed. It then will give me my coping mechanism of choice, aka food, as a solution to the problem, and it will be in mass quantities that are not good for me. So the cycle just continues and continues and continues because my lower brain wants to protect me, the I, the Heather of the story, right? But when I look at Susie, I'm using my higher level brain, and I can see very clearly things that we could do based on self-compassion that would be loving and kind, but also help her move towards her goal. Like, I would never tell Susie, eat the entire box of cookies. I would never tell Susie never to eat a single carb and eat nothing but protein and lettuce. Like, I would never do that because I see that inherently probably isn't going to work for her, right? So do you see the difference? And this is important because whenever I've talked about self-compassion, one of the biggest pushbacks I get is, Heather, I can't do that. I would just give myself all the things. No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Your lower brain would, because it sees a problem that it's trying to fix. Your anxiety and your stress go up, and then it offers up all the food. It doesn't understand self-compassion. That can't possibly be something that it works in, because where would self-compassion fit into a survival situation? Think about it. You're being chased by a tiger. Now, sweetheart, if you're feeling a little tired, take a sit down moment, right? In a life and death survival based standpoint, there is no room for self-compassion. It is survival. Your brain is kind of outdated. It still is operating based on those possible problems in a world that they do not exist. So it's looking for other ones. Your weight is a problem. Your eating behavior is a problem. Your work situation is a problem. Your family situation is a problem. And all these perceived problems are a reason for your lower brain to show up and flex its muscle and say, I'm still relevant. Here I am. Even though there's no saber-toothed tiger chasing me down, even though I'm not in a possible situation where there's no food and we have to go forage. No, we're totally comfortable sitting in our houses, air conditioning, food in the refrigerator, right? Like, we don't need it anymore, but it still wants to make itself known and be necessary. So here's what you want to think. How do I start to build self-compassion? Start thinking about, what would self-compassion look like for somebody else? How would you suggest they go about doing it? Really fixate on somebody that you're close to, that you have a good feeling about. Write all that down. Then start doing it for yourself. And when you hear your lower brain screaming, we can't do that. We can't live in the gray. We don't know how to have a chocolate bar every day. We don't know how to put fun activities in. We have too much to do. We got to hustle for our worthiness. We got to survive. You go, no, I hear you, lower brain, but I need to start creating a different situation for myself. And if I let you run the show, I will always be in survival mode. I will always be in reaction. I am never going to be building self-compassion putting things in with intention. I'm not using my higher level brain. The cycle keeps repeating, and then I burn myself out, and yada, yada, yada. And I don't want to live in the black and white anymore, the all or nothing. I want to start to find some sense of middle ground. So I hope this video helps, guys. You have a fantastic day. And, oh, just so you know, in the description of the video, all the links to things like my podcast, which comes out every Monday, and other resources that I have available for you. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.